Hypothetical that I wrote down. You guys tell me what you think. I was watching that Elvis movie.
Oh, yeah.
And I was watching him. Actually, I was watching another Elvis doc, and I think they showed a clip from Jailhouse Rock, and he's doing the whole, it's a music video, essentially. There are 15 cons, all white. Now, is that good or is that bad? You know what I mean? Because on one hand, they made them all white back then because they were hiring white guys. Now it's good because it's all white guys and no black cons in there. What do we do? Is it progress? Would you say we must need an equal amount of black cons in this video now? They're being underrepresented.
Now,
even at half, they're being uppers. But I don't think you couldn't go to a pure prison representation quotient, could you? Like, well, 71% are black, so we got to do 7 out of 10. You couldn't do that.
I say it's bad simply because they took jobs away from black actors.
That's right, like dancers.
Yes, exactly.
Right. So now you'd have to go like a 3 out of 10. You'd have to go 3.
Sure.
Yeah, or some sort of ambiguity in the race.
Yeah, ethnically ambiguous.
Couple Hispanics.
But you'll be wrong whatever you do.
Yeah.
Whatever you do,
someone's going to be pissed.
Yeah.
We can all make our peace with that.
Yeah.
Well, over the dark week, the news broke that actress and friend of our show, Heche, was taken off life support after that bizarre fiery car crash in Mar Vista. Very sad. And now Heche's death has sent many fans scrambling to find her autobiography. So she wrote this book in 2001 called Call Me Crazy, and it's been out of print for years. And now copies are being rebranded as collectibles, selling for up to $1,000 per book.
They can reprint those.
Hey, man.
Listen, I've written books. Just go to Anne Heche's condo, go into her garage. There will be 400 cases of books that you guys look forward to this day. Yeah. At some point, they go, people liked your book, but they didn't love it. We thought they'd love it. They just liked it. So we made a whole bunch of extras. So if you can either throw them away or we'll just drop them off in your garage.
Yeah, what's to be done with those? You literally have to just take them?
Larry Miller was explaining that he had built himself like a fort in his garage out of them. You can go full igloo
insulation.
Style.
Yeah, like the last bookstore downtown.
It's more than R30. Yeah, insulation. I mean, literally, if you looked at the R value of poured concrete, oak paneling, or books, you get a lot more. Look, when you blown insulation, it's just cellulose. It's literally newspaper, blown up. So there's a lot of R value. You could a 30-06 would not penetrate halfway into chapter 3. It's got a protective value to it. So I'd say we could build homeless encampments.
Yes.
We could build low-cost housing.
Yes.
And if they wanted to be inspired. Pop one up.
That's great.
Get off the fentanyl.
And you're totally right about it not going through books, because remember the scene in Sopranos where they have the phone book over Lorraine's chest?
Yes.
And Popper we only made it to the R's.
Yeah.
So you're right.
This is piles of books.
That's really smart.
Insulation, protective. I don't know how they fare in earthquake, but we could check that out and figure that out.
Crazy clue.
Mm-hmm. Now we know we have a future.
That's right.
Well, as the fight to bring Brittney Griner back to the United States continues.
Anne Heche was first off, she was a lovely woman. She's been in the show many times. Fun, but clearly troubled. Right. But they didn't find alcohol on her. But
there was some in the car.
They did show that, but she didn't test.
Right. Right.
They did find trace amounts of cocaine, but they find that in fish now, right? I mean, this is L.A., you know what I mean? But why?
Every dollar in my wallet.
Why the crazy, right? Why the crazy drive? Why was she?
Could have been a mental episode,
yes.
Some sort of a breakdown.
Yes. All right. Anyway.
Yeah, she was really lovely.
She was.
Well, as the fight to bring Brittney Griner back to the United States continues, our hero has emerged. He's going to fix it again, just like he did with North Korea. Dennis Rodman has announced Saturday he's going.
The money was on Seagal.
I was thinking Elon Musk.
And Elon.
Rodman shared in an interview with NBC News that he intends to travel to Russia in the near future to get her released. Griner, who's 31, was sentenced to 9 years in a Russian penal colony. Is there a sadder and scarier sentence than that? For the drug charges of having hashish oil in her luggage. But according to NBC, Rodman is not required to receive special permission from the U.S. to make the trip. He would only need it from Moscow, and then maybe their fans.
Do we know? I mean, Robin has got to be careful. Like, I don't know if Putin is quite the level of NBA fan of the 90s that, Kim Jong-un. Yeah.
See, I don't think if this nice woman is Jewish, I don't think she's Jewish because I won't even fly through the Moscow. I could have saved $1,000 a ticket if we'd fly through whatever the Moscow airport. I won't go into Russia. I won't go. My family got out in 1898. We don't go back. You stay out. Who goes to Russia?
You chose to pay more?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Brian, please.
To not go through, not go through Moscow.
Well,
yes.
and that's our thing. We're planning a honeymoon, and we're talking about Europe and France and Switzerland. And someone said, "Oh, you should visit Berlin." I go, "I have no fucking use for Berlin, for Germany. I'm not interested. I wish them all well, but that's not going to be. They're not going to get my dollars.
Revenge tour.
That's not for me."
I've explained to my kids about the whole Berlin Nazi, but I only took it back as far as Hasselhoff's fame.
Oh.
I didn't go
That's
lower than
why.
that. I didn't want to freak them out.
I feel like there were more important things that happened in history.
We stopped at Hasselhoff's rise to power.
Imagine their confusion.
So they don't even know about the Holocaust.
I don't know anything about that.
Really?
I
But
stopped
they know
at
enough.
Hasselhoff. That upset them.
It was really bad, and it started with an H.
Gina.
You know what they should do? Russia should say, look, we will agree to let Brittney go with the worm, but you must promise to mate. And then we get to use the offspring. It's the ultimate rebounder. I mean,
We got to clean every
fair.
board.
Yeah.
we're going to clean every goddamn board with this kid. Male or female, they're going
That's a
out
good
of
trade.
junior high into the
I
league.
do want to see that negotiation, though.
Right.
At the least, I want to see that posited.
Well, and I know I have this in here somewhere, but they are still working on a trade of Brittney Griner and Paul Whelan with the, what do they call
Lord of
him?
War guy.
That's right, the
The
Victor
Lord of War.
Bout.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But maybe Dennis Rodman will just make this all go away. Speaking of making things go away, we finally have an ending. Some would call it a happy ending to the Deshaun Watson saga, as the NFL and Players Association have agreed to suspend him for 11 games and fine him $5 million for all the massage shenanigans. While he wasn't criminally charged for anything, he was accused by more than 24 women of sexual misconduct during massage sessions. He'll be eligible for reinstatement November 28th and will be available to play against the Browns in Week 13 when Cleveland faces
He plays
the
for the
Texans.
Browns.
Right.
He's going to play against his ex-team.
His old
Texans.
team.
Right. The Texans.
And remember, the judge said he was only suspended for 5 games, but like you said, the NFL probably has to optically let's make it a little harsher.
Well, you have to if you don't care about something and you look the other way and then you're accused of looking the other way, Hollywood does this too, then you have to go way into overcompensation mode. So you're aware of Harvey Weinstein and all the other degenerates doing everything, and you turn a fucking blind eye to it and you celebrate these guys in award shows and stuff. And then you have to act like you care about someone slapping someone on the ass at some point because you're compensating for all the years you ignored everything. So NFL has to do that.
No, I think you're right.
As well.
By
Is everyone
the way,
watching Hard Knocks?
Yes. Oh, this
Good.
is the
I
first
haven't
episode
started
on the plane.
Yeah.
Dan Campbell. What a man.
Love that show.
I love that show, and I know nothing about football, but it teaches me. But have you guys seen this series Untold? The first episode is the fully fleshed out hour story of Manti Te'o and the
I've
girlfriend.
been hearing about that.
It is fascinating. You think
Yes.
you know, but there's so much more to this story.
Linebacker, don't know if he's
Notre
still in the
Dame.
league.
No, I think he played for a couple of years.
I think he's Mormon and lives in Utah with somebody.
It was a big
girl with his
big name
wife.
out of
Notre
college, kind of washed out a little bit.
All-American at Notre Dame.
He wanted
Yeah.
to go to USC. He went to Notre Dame, and you hear like, well, how dumb can he be? And he must have been in on it, and it's just fascinating the catfishing saga of this.
He's a
girlfriend.
free agent, according to Chris, this year.
Well, and
He's out of the league.
you hear half of the show is dedicated to interviewing the girlfriend, quote unquote.
So now that
She now identifies as a woman and wants to come out and tell her story of how this happened and why.
Now that the cement is hardening on this story, he was just incredibly naive. Is that what
Very.
we're looking at? Like he's like a man-child.
Religious and naive.
Yeah,
and,
sheltered a bit maybe.
Yeah, but this person now, I mean, the whole story, she'll tell you everything. And she'll say, oh, I was so ashamed when I did this and then this. And they never meet, Manti and Ronaya or whatever.
Was it a dude the whole time?
At the time, yes.
Oh, see, this is the problem with her.
I know!
She'll say, it's like, what's she? All right.
I know. Oh, Dr. Phil's on it. It's amazing.
Can we stop getting angry at people who trust other human beings? You know, like, what a doofus. You should have known. You left your backpack on the fucking driver's seat and the window cracked. What? That's on you, dude.
Yep.
That's on you. It's like,
Heartfelt-
no, it's not. I trust other God's creatures. I trust them. Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry.
My neighbor was telling my wife, I didn't want to tell this to John because he gets his panties all in a bun about twisted in a knot about crime. Somebody did a home invasion next door, but she's explaining, you know what? He doesn't leave his lights on. He doesn't. Okay.
Yeah.
And
It's
I'm
his
like,
fault.
are you?
He didn't have a Burmese tiger trap dug and sharpened bamboo spears in the front with elephant dung on them. This is on you, dude.
Yeah.
You just had the privacy knob locked. You didn't have the deadbolt turn. That's on you. It's like, no, it's not on me. Yes, it's on the person that broke into the house.
Mm-hmm. Pete Holmes has a great bit about that, about how you blame gullible people for just trusting humanity. You're totally right.
Gullible people are generally just nice people who think other people think like they think in a nice way.
Yeah.
So they tend to believe them.
How dare they?
Yeah.
He dared to have an emotional connection with somebody that online.
That's
Yeah,
right.
what a fool.
Who did a
Never
bang-up
pick
job
up a
convincing him.
hitchhiker. Never pick up. Of course you got stabbed. You deserved it. What were you doing giving that person a ride? Like, no, these are what
Oh,
people...
they're broke down on the side of the road.
I need money for gas.
Joke's on you.
Money's going up his nose. But it's like, it's called a society.
Yeah.
It used to kind of work.
Doesn't matter what we're wearing.
Let's not punish those who trust.
That's right. So definitely check that out because it is riveting. Let's talk about something a little closer to home that may affect some gentlemen in this studio, this very studio. I'm not sure. A group of 30.
Wait a second, though. So the dude at the time was catfishing him just
Yes.
for fun?
He felt this connection to him. He's just kind of this lonely dude, also super religious.
Gay?
Not out. I mean,
Not out.
part of the church and also Polynesian. And came up with this elaborate, and this was before the rest of before we've gotten savvy on this issue. So you'd never heard of anything like this, and somebody all but shows you they're real, that they're real.
All right.
So it's really interesting. I can't wait to see what you think. Let me know if this affects anybody here. A group of 30 exotic dancers at North Hollywood's Star Garden Topless Dive Bar.
Our garden.
Yeah.
That was my hang.
That was his old haunt.
That's where I met my girlfriend.
That's right. So you might have a particular interest in this. They are unionizing. With what union, you ask? Actors Equity. Yes, indeed. They are, according to Deadline, the dancers voted overwhelmingly last week to unionize and join forces with SAG. They say,
You don't want that.
with Actors
Acronym.
We
Equity.
don't want that.
Wait, are they?
No, Actors Equity.
Are
Actors
they
Equity.
acting when they like me?
They're yes, it's a performance.
Well, then,
They say their bosses are guilty of all sorts of abuses, from skimming tips to letting customers get a little handsier than they're supposed to, despite there being rules against that. When asked why these protections are so important, a stripper named Velveeta replied, "We like what we do. We would like it more if our jobs were under basic protections. We're like so many other workers who have learned that it's not a choice between suffering abuse or quitting. With a union, together, we can make needed improvements to our workplace."
So Star Garden, I don't know what
Tell us all about
configuration
it.
it's in. Now, it's a little place, has a pool table and a bar, and
Well appointed.
a little stage. It's
Like Jumbo's size? Like not that.
it's topless.
Yeah.
It's like first 3 dances, 3 songs.
Three-song stop set.
Yeah, this is first.
I mean,
it's
I don't
like
know.
in some kind of negligee stuff,
Sure.
and then the second is like in a more revealing outfit, and then the third is the same outfit, but the top comes off at the minute left in the song, and then that's the whole thing. But there's no champagne room or lap dances.
Really? Well,
No.
when's the last time you were there? 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
What time did the show start?
1989.
I don't want to see the scabs when they go on strike.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's a good
Oh.
The lunch crew.
They don't, a little DJ booth,
Yeah.
a little bar, little place. I don't know if they blew a place out and, busted down and got in with Venus Affair or something, whatever. There was a place that sold stuff, too.
Venus Affair.
Yeah. It was
Is it
either
like a
Venus
sex toy shop?
Fair. It was either, Chris can look, it was either Venus Fair or Venus Affair. Maybe Venus Fair. Same side of the street, Lancashire.
Yeah, Venus Fair with an E at the end. Fair.
Like a
Renaissance
play on,
Fair.
like a play on Vanity Fair.
Oh, there you go.
But Star Garden, they don't, guys can't really get they could get handsy
Can
because
you get a
then-
lap dance?
No.
Oh.
But I think that the dancers work as like cocktail waitresses when they're done. So they could presumably get handsy walking around the table.
I don't like that. If I'm dancing, I want to be treated like the star I am. I don't want to get off stage and go bring you a Diet Coke.
You're not going to tech your own play.
That's what I'm talking about.
Well, what if I said you got a choice between you bringing the guys the Heinekens or you going up on stage, which is every fifth dancer, and doing the one where you take the Windex to the mirror.
Oh, and then you do the poll too.
You wipe down. You got to wipe.
Yeah.
The place needs a wiping down every 4 or 5 dancers.
That's a good question.
Wouldn't you rather be slinging the Heineken
Yeah,
at that
I guess
point?
I would.
Okay.
At least, treat me like a performer. Don't, make me grab a mop.
So they're going to unionize.
They're unionizing.
All right.
With Actors Equity. Oh, look, there's your place.
Oh, it's nice.
Oh, Venus Fair.
That's Venus Fair. Yeah. What you want is a lot
part of a ghost town.
lot of stucco and not many windows.
Yeah.
That's how you know it's a really classy establishment. And then just up Lancashire, probably another 4 or 5 storefronts. You get to Star Garden, which is a miniature little place.
This is clearly the end of North Hollywood. So what are we butting up against? Like Panorama City?
Panorama
or
City, Sun Valley.
This is not the NoHo Arts District.
but there is more NoHo to go.
That's their slogan.
You'll be 2-3 blocks down and still in NoHo.
Wow.
Yeah, there's guys
Crippling depression.
selling used cars and
Yeah.
equipment and stuff like that. Like you can keep going.
It's sun bleached.
Yeah, sun blasted.
It screams bunker.
Yeah, there's no fauna, flora.
Nothing grows.
No.
Yeah, now this is the place that sells the plugs and the strap-ons and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
But this place is like a peep booth too.
Oh, how quaint.
Oh,
Yeah,
like a Madonna video.
Yeah. Open your
yeah, it's like a
heart.
Madonna video. They have the glass, and then you put the money in
That's
the thing.
still up and running, you think?
This place also has, Jesus, remember those old video booths? You just feed change in. And I always had this theory that they, I don't know, it was $1.50 for 3 minutes or something, like quarters. But I think where they made their real money was not in the one and done department, $1.50 at a time. They clinically timed it out so that you would put in your $1.50, you'd start to go to town on yourself, and at some point it would stop.
Yeah.
You'd have to reach down and like reboot and get your pants back up and fish
They're no
around.
dummies.
Meanwhile, the dick's flaccid again, and we restart the process
Yeah.
over.
That's how you get rich
That's
and
how you
stay
get
rich.
rich. That's how you do it.
That's good.
Right.
Do they still have Pete booths?
That's a test. Don't answer that.
That a peep. I don't know. We're going back to circa '89.
Okay.
That's all.
Do you think
I know.
there's competition for the editors who are just so good at time?
Finding the
you
moment.
got to get Jimmy. This guy, he knows how to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. There's an algorithm. I'm sure that it's in play in many different facets
Sure.
of business, and this is one of them. Don't kid yourself.
I won't.
It's called porn business, people.
Poor Jimmy's like, I worked on the thin blue lines. Like, get in there and cut that porno.
Yeah, I don't know if they still have the peep show or I imagine they don't have the booths anymore.
Yeah.
But Star Garden was just a little kind of flash dancey place.
Well, now
kinda
they're on the
quaint.
map.
Little
Yeah.
mom and pop place.
That's right. Oh boy, there it is.
There it is.
That's nice.
It's classy.
It does look classy.
yeah.
Look at the column.
Yeah.
It's classy.
There's a column.
They only have one column.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Hey, if that's a good column, that's all you need. Yeah. There it is.
Somebody live upstairs?
I never found out what was going on upstairs.
Okay, that's for the best.
We pretty much shot some pool, watched a few dances.
Is there a North Hollywood affiliation of like mob? Is there a mob scene in the Valley that I'm not aware of? Because that's where they would hang out if they were here.
This was seemed kind of blue collar, kind of Joe Sixpacky. Guys were reasonably well behaved. We knew the bouncer. He just kind of let us in. Kind of knew most of the dancers. I don't know. It was in a weird way. It was sort of innocent fun at a strip club
Yeah,
in a
simpler
more
time.
innocent time. Like we just wanted to drink pitchers of beer and shoot pool and stuff like that too.
Was there a buffet?
No,
No.
there's no. I don't think you could get food. Food would have been out of our. That was way too. Unless they had some busted up taco shells
you
or
couldn't
stuff that
afford
brought
it.
in from Henry's.
Well, there's a new employment term that's getting a lot of traction online. It's called quiet quitting. CNBC reports.
Chris, you have told me about this.
Yeah, it's a thing now that 21% of working Americans say they themselves are quiet quitters. So what is it? So this TikToker who goes by the name of Zed Leplin kickstarted the conversation with a video he posted on July 25th. Here's how he explains quiet quitting.
I recently learned about this term called quiet quitting, where you're not outright quitting your job, but you're quitting the idea of going above and beyond. You're still performing your duties, but you're no longer subscribing to the hustle culture mentality that work has to be your life. The reality is it's not, and your worth as a person is not defined by your labor.
So others
I do
have weighed
this
in.
in relationships, but I would never bring it to work.
Quiet
You know what I
dumping.
mean?
Quiet,
just
quiet
kinda
breaking up.
Yeah.
Leave it at the threshold.
That's right.
When you go to work, it's time to work.
Well, others weighed in, said it's about setting boundaries, about what your outputs look like. It's about doing the bare minimum because that's all that you can give. It's about not doing extra work if there's no extra compensation, and the list goes on
All right.
and on.
First off, fuck all these fucking idiots. They're so torpedoing their own. Like, I'm not going to do any extra work if I don't get any extra. No, that's how it works. That's how all good jobs work that way. Yeah, don't work any more than you should work. If you're working at a Del Taco, don't work for free. But if you're in a production company or something and you want Mike Judge to notice you, then
Get him a coffee.
feel free to get him to notice you in a good way. Then there's this thing where it's like, why should I have to make my life work? And it's the same thing I say with people like, give these people universal basic income so they can have dignity. It's like, dignity? Well, give them a fucking wheel of free cheese, too. Like, what do you mean dignity? Dignity's about going to fucking work, you lazy sacks of shit. You don't have to make your life your work. You should have balance, but you should also strive to have a career.
We shouldn't vilify your work.
Yeah, but there is work, and then there's a career. One should attempt to have a career, and then you would enjoy your work.
It's penny wise and pound foolish. You're going to feel great for a little while because you're in the bare minimum getting paid, but no, you're not going to have any chance of moving up. They're going to look at you as like just,
Slacker.
he barely does anything.
Yeah.
And also, lethargy is overrated. Like, people
that on a
think
bumper sticker.
The guy leaning on the broom is having the time of his life, and the guy's doing all the extra sweeping is miserable. The guy's doing the sweeping is happier than the guy leaning on his broom. That's the thing we don't tell you.
Because he
Work's
realized
good.
he had time to lean.
Time to clean.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about somebody who's going the other way and getting applauded by people in Hollywood and people online and people he worked with on the movie. Idris Elba says his own kid auditioned to play his kid in a latest movie, and she did not get the part, even though...
In Beast?
That's right.
I'm going to
Even
see
though
that after this.
it just could have presumably pulled some strings to get her cast. He was on The Breakfast Club plugging the movie The Beast, and during the conversation, Elba revealed why his 20-year-old daughter, Isan, didn't make the cut.
And, interestingly enough, my daughter auditioned for this role. She wants to be an actress, and she auditioned. And, it came down to chemistry in the end. My
She was
daughter
actually
and
very good.
she was great. But
Yeah.
the relationship in the film and the relationship between my daughter the chemistry wasn't right for film, weirdly enough.
They she didn't pass a chemistry test with her dad.
Wow.
Perhaps in the movie their relationship is strained. And
Perhaps.
it's just too good.
And she said she
Or they're
didn't.
lovers.
That's right. She didn't speak to him for 3 weeks, but
Really?
she's gotten over it, and he's getting just completely applauded by everyone for the lack of nepotism.
Well, it's weird because, like, whenever, I don't know, Gordon Ramsay, was he on the show
Yeah.
saying, I fly first class, my kids fly coach because they haven't earned it? And we all love it. Like, we love it when people tell their kids to fuck off. But then we've structured society in some weird way where that's not really possible anymore.
What are you talking about?
Yes, dad running all over town looking for a charger for an electric bike. But then when they do it, we like it, right?
We love it.
We love it.
They're heroes.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's good. I'm sure she'll land on her feet. But even the people that worked on Beast were also applauding him. Like it just made everything easier.
But I don't get it. She wasn't. But the host was kind of. She said
That
oh,
was
they were
the
great at
producer of the
something else.
movie.
He was on the movie.
Yeah, who I think was trying to soften the blow. She was really good. She came really close.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see. He was
yeah.
saying she was really good because I thought it was a host saying like they saw the movie
No,
or something
no.
like that.
She didn't make the cut. And I mean, as though Idris Elba needed help being hotter. That real voice, that English voice.
Oh yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Anyway, do we have time for one more?
Does Mike Judge try to shoehorn any of his offspring into your art?
No, I think we're all too embarrassed and shy about doing anything like that.
Yeah, we've definitely seen it though.
You've seen it.
And you feel it, right? Like there's resentment, I'm sure.
Yeah.
We had a friend ruin one of my favorite lines that I ever wrote in King of the Hill. He said, I got the perfect person. It was a girlfriend or wife. And we said, oh, perfect. Okay. And she butchered it. And I'll never forgive nepotism for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You couldn't quietly re-record that?
You know what? Then it would have been, okay, so we replaced your girlfriend, wife, and everything becomes a thing.
Yeah.
And so we just cut the line.
What do you think? Nick Cage has a kid, but he can't go by Coppola or Cage if he's trying to keep it real, right? He's got to now go for a third name,
That's right.
and then if he becomes super successful, then his kid
Where does it end?
is
Yeah.
going to have to abandon their name.
Yeah.
Could he?
Onion.
Could he circle back to Coppola?
No.
Not going to work because we all love the Nick Cage story. It's like I want to do this on my own
Right.
own terms, right?
Right.
So,
Well, even Talia Shire.
right. Right.
You know what Kirk Douglas told Michael Douglas? Michael Douglas, you don't know how tough it is being, Michael Douglas. So Kirk Douglas, he goes, change your name. His name, he was like Kirk Kirchhoffsky,
Yeah,
the Jewish guy.
that's right.
Right.
Just change your name.
Right.
The last thing I heard of that.
Yeah.
One more?
One more.
All right. Well, if you don't know where your buddy was over the weekend, I can tell you, Adam, because Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck got married for the second time, this time in a big ceremony at Ben's Georgia estate. Matt Damon, Jimmy Kimmel, and Kevin Smith were on hand for the ceremony, though Affleck's younger
like
brother, Casey, yeah.
1.5 of those people?
Yeah, that's about right.
Out of 3?
They were no-shows. They first got married in Vegas in a little ceremony, but now this was in his compound. And nothing, a good friend of mine who owns the Glow Med Spa in Savannah, that's where J-Lo went to get her skincare done. So Jimmy Kimmel was there. You've got to ask him all about it.
Is this lasting forever? Because they both, have had a few swings and misses. But at a certain point, you get old enough, and it's just like, oh, fuck it.
I think it has to be.
Or you're deeply in love.
No.
There's always that option.
I think it has to be just for spite, because they would never come back from a second divorce. They have to keep this shit together, just to spite A-Rod and all the Mark Anthony, Jennifer Garner.
Hate that guy. Don't know her.
Yeah,
One of
she's
the
nice.
proudest moments with my daughter, she must have been like 4 or 5. We made Extract, and Ben Affleck was one of the stars, and he was fantastic because he wasn't getting paid anything, so he was there because he wanted to be. But my daughter's there on set, and so he goes and tries to be the good guy, and my Milena will not have any of it. He's like, hey, I'm Ben. She's just like, fuck you, fuck you. Could not break through to her at all.
Wow.
So, yeah. She's
Can't
a
win
tough
them
one.
all.
All right, you want to bring it home?
That's all for us. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
Gina Grad. That was the news with Gina Grad.
No, it's crazy when you see pictures of her, J-Lo, and him and their prior relationship 20 years ago. He looks 20 years younger. She looks
the same.
exactly the same age.
That's right.
Clean living.
Yeah, it's got to go a little deeper than that.
Sure, she was blessed.
Ryan, you're so naive.
But I just mean it like it
Yeah.
literally just doesn't look different.
No.
He looks good now, too. He just looked 20 years younger 20 years ago.
Yeah.
She's
a vision.
She's just who she is.
Yeah.
Absolutely nuts. And then she's got more money than him, right?
I would think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Prenup?
I guess, right? I mean, you just have to. There's too,
No, take it
too
personally,
much.
yeah.
Right. I think they're in, according to TMZ, they're moving in, remodeling her big, Beverly Hills estate or something while looking for other houses.
Adam is our TMZ correspondent.
Watch TMZ.
He fills you in.
Yes.
Watch TMZ constantly. All right, the book, The Gangster's Guide to Sobriety, My Life in 12 Steps. It's available as we speak. When does the Ducati motorcycle special series, when might we see that coming somewhere soon?
Well, we're literally putting that together. I'm going to Italy in 3 weeks, and we're just trying to, put it together. Like I said, instead of just going to American strip, well, let's go to Italy, because Italy's great. I lived there for a year and a half, and put it together with Ducati, all these sponsors, and then regional film commissioners, and just do it up right.
Right, because it's early next year, and we could have wrapped the show. But thank you for that soliloquy. Salt Lake City, Wise Guys Comedy Club. This Friday and Saturday, doing live pods there early, and then stand-up shows for the late show. Just go to AdamCarolla.com. Until next time, this is Adam for John and Dave and Gina and Bald saying mahalo.
I support reality. I support what's fair, what's right. And it certainly isn't cool, dope, fresh, or American to be able to walk into a Rite Aid and just pack your bag and not even feel scared
Right.
to do that. Normally, back in my days, if you stole a pack of gum, your heart should be racing.